Today we're working on Psalm 12. Psalm 12 is frequently used to overcome gossip. It's also used to protect from oppression, also just to protect in general. And it's used to overcome feelings of abandonment or actually being abandoned. Today we're going to use Psalm 12 to alleviate anxiety. If you're anxious about anything, that's not the universe's will for you. So we're going to use this psalm to undo that. So if you're anxious for anything whatsoever, bring all that stuff to mind and let's take care of it today with Psalm number 12. The way we work Psalm Magic is so simple and very effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we recite it out loud all the way through once without stopping. And this is called an incantation. Then once we're finished with that incantation, we go back through that psalm and we consider each verse in turn and we mine for hidden occult meanings within each verse. We see those as magical seeds, and it's through the digging, searching, and then applying those truths that we find to the situation that we brought to the psalm that we, in a very real sense, take those magic seeds and plant them in the deep, fertile grounds of our mind, where they, in a very real sense, take root and grow, blossom forth, and then bear fruit after their kind. And that's what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm number 12. Help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said with our tongue we will prevail, our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. It starts out by speaking to the Lord directly, and the Lord is, in the King James Version, always the translation from Tetragrammaton, or Yehovah, or Yod-He-Vav-He. The Lord represents for us in magic that force that is all. There's one force, there's one source, there's one substance in all of the universe, and that is what is called the Lord here. It's a pre-gender force. So we don't want to think in terms of a father figure here. We want to think in terms of the force of all life, that which is beating your heart, that which causes the planets to revolve around the sun, that which causes babies to grow from embryos, and groves of trees to grow out of an acorn. It says, help, Lord. So we are giving a command to this force, to infinite intelligence. We are commanding that we be helped. Now, in this case, we're talking about anxiety, but whatever you've brought to the psalm, if that's not the case, you have the right to command for the help that you need. Because the nature of infinite intelligence is responsiveness. And so it sits in waiting for you. And so in order for you to get the help you need, you must command that it be so. Help, Lord, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. So the godly man ceaseth. We're saying that there's nothing good in the world. I'm the only good person left. I'm the only good thing left. Nobody else is good like I am. And we know what that feels like, right? What's with everybody? What's with everything? How come everything is so bad? Everything has failed. Everything ceases that is good. Am I the only one? What's going on here? For the faithful fail from among the children of men. Let's take that more esoterically. The children of men in this case are our creations, our thoughts, the things that we contribute to the world. So the faithful fail from among the children. It's like, I can't make anything work anymore. I can't get anything to work anymore. My wand, it's not working. What's happening? They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. Vanity in the Psalms represents for us thinking on our own, thinking private thoughts, acting without consulting with infinite intelligence first, acting as separate ego minds. And the whole psalm here is talking about the power of speech, so that we can look to what words we use to show us what our motivations are and what our thoughts are. So speaking vanity, everyone with his neighbor. Now let's look at this in terms of not so much that there's people outside of us that are speaking vainly, although if that's the case, if that's what you brought to the psalm, we definitely include that here. But let's look at how you speak vainly with your neighbor. Your neighbor means that companion within you, that internal guidance that is always with you. Let's look at that as being your neighbor for this psalm. When you speak vanity, everyone with your neighbor, that means that you're trying to create a private universe. And rather than listening to infinite intelligence's voice for you, you've created a different voice for yourself that will tell you what you think you want to hear. And then you go and you do what you want to do, and then you wonder why you're so anxious. And it's telling you the reason why you're so anxious is because you're listening to the wrong voice. You're listening to the voice within you that's telling you what you think you want to hear, rather than the voice that infinite intelligence gave you to listen to, which is your internal guidance, your true neighbor, not your false neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. And we know how that works internally, don't we? It's not you, it's them. You have nothing to do with what's going on here. It's all happening to you. You are utterly victimized. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be victimized, but what I'm saying is you don't want to listen to the voice inside your head that is causing you to reinforce that victimization. You want to listen instead to the voice of infinite intelligence that is within you. That inner guidance that comes from infinite intelligence, not the one that flatters you, that tells you what you think you want to hear. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Now, that's a very violent image, cutting off lips and cutting off a tongue. And it probably harkens back to a type of torture that was done during the days when these psalms were written. Let's use that violent imagery for our own benefit today and recognize that it's not infinite intelligence that's going to cut off the lips and the tongue of our own ego. It's the ego that destroys itself. That ego mind, remember, the one that's flattering you and telling you what you think you want to hear, it has no goal for you but your destruction. It's not your friend. It's not your neighbor. It's an imposter. And when we allow infinite intelligence to reign and to show us and to teach us according to its infinite intelligence rather than our own cleverness, it appears as though the ego gets destroyed. But you can't destroy an illusion. How can you destroy something that's not there? So we think that we're hearing the voice of our ego flattering us, but we're just hearing nothing. We're just hearing vanity. And so today what we're asking for is the truth to be revealed to us. We want to be shown the truth about the situation that is causing us this anxiety. Because the truth is that infinite intelligence already healed it. Whatever it is, it's already been healed. There's nothing for us to worry about. But the more that we listen to that vain voice within our heads that is giving us what it's calling flattery and pride, what those flattering lips and speaking of proud things are is a distraction from listening to the voice that brings us into peace. Those flattering lips and those vain things that are being spoken of in our own mind are creating and perpetuating the anxiety that we're coming to the psalm to be rid of. So part of the problem that we have and we are confronted with, and that the psalm is going to help us with, is that in order for us to be healed from something, we have to give up the things that we think that are benefits from that thing. So we have to give up a lot of the things that we think that we love in order to be free from the anxiety. It's like the alcoholic has to give up drinking in order to stop being affected by the disease of alcoholism. Right? It's to stop poisoning themselves with the alcohol. They actually have to stop drinking. The person who needs to quit smoking actually has to stop smoking. And for us, we have to stop with the things in our own mind that we are addicted to that keep this anxiety perpetual for us. We have to go cold turkey. And so that's what we're asking for, those things to be cut off, even though it's violent imagery there to have the lips and tongue cut. What in actuality, what we're asking for is help us as we go cold turkey from the vanity of our own thinking that's keeping us stuck in this anxiety. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things, who have said, with our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? Remember the story of Lucifer. Lucifer decided that Lucifer knew best and that God was taking too long. And so rather than thinking in consort with infinite intelligence, Lucifer thought all by himself. And so that caused what they call the fall. Now, according to the story that I understand, then Lucifer made the correction and has already corrected that. Lucifer already realized that you can't think all by yourself and be happy. So Lucifer already corrected that error on our behalf. Therefore, we don't have to make the same mistake because Lucifer's already fixed it. Lucifer's already, according to that myth, atoned. So we don't have to go down that path anymore. And so when it's saying, who have said, with our tongue we will prevail, our lips are our own, who is Lord over us, we don't want to go down that road where we think all by ourselves. I don't need infinite intelligence. I'm fine all by myself. No, I can do this by myself. I can do this by myself. That's what's causing the anxiety. You can't do this by yourself. So don't go down that road anymore. It's okay to say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what this means. I don't know what these things are. I have no idea. I'm confused. None of this makes sense. Please help me. When you do that, then you're put in line with help, and that help comes rushing in. That's the only way. Remember how it started out? Lord, help. Help, Lord. Help, Lord. Infinite intelligence doesn't just come in and do it for you without you asking, because we've been blessed or cursed, whichever way you want to look at it, with free will. So we have to use that free will to say, I don't want to say, with our tongue I will prevail, with my lips are my own, who is Lord over me. I don't want to think like that. That's where the anxiety comes from. I want to say, I don't know what will make me happy. I don't know what these things are. But infinite intelligence, please show me. For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. So all it is you asking. I need to be saved from this anxiety. I need to be saved from these problems. And all you have to do is ask. And infinite intelligence says, okay. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I want to be saved from alcoholism and I want to have a cocktail. I want to be saved from the demon nicotine, but I want to have a cigarette. I want to be saved from gossip, but I want to spread rumors. I want to be saved from anxiety, but I still want to ponder things which make me tense. Do you see? We have to realize that that kind of arrogant thinking is what gets us into the problem. You can't have it both ways. But the good news is that infinite intelligence doesn't want you to be deprived. Infinite intelligence isn't interested in you going without things that make you happy. It's just that we have it all backwards in our minds. We think that the things we're addicted to are happiness, and that's what causes us anxiety. We don't know that some of the things that we think are so good for us and that we love so much and that we say we enjoy so much, we don't. They aren't fun. We don't like them. We just have convinced ourselves that we do through that lying internal voice. So what we're asking for here is to be shown a new way of thinking so that we can live without anxiety, that we can be happy, and we can have the things in this world that truly do make us happy. So infinite intelligence is going to lift you up out of this. It's the promise made right in this psalm. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. So think in terms of the silver that's tried in the furnace, those are the pure words, going through each of the planets of old, going through each of those angelic forces. Each one of them is giving you another way to hear the truth from infinite intelligence and another way to hear the truth from infinite intelligence. You're going to hear the truth from infinite intelligence about each and every aspect of your life, all 7 times, all 7 ways, 7 days a week. You're going to hear exactly what you need to know that will make you happy, successful, prosperous, healthy, free, and most importantly, peaceful. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. It's a continuation of what was purified 7 times. It's talking about infinite intelligence's words are going to be kept. Those promises are going to be kept. Infinite intelligence doesn't lie. There's no lying. There's no deceit. There's no gossip. And there's definitely no anxiety in infinite intelligence. From this generation forever, in other words, from where we're starting right here with all of the circumstances that we have, starting here, starting now, this is eternity. And from this day forward, we get peace because we're going to listen to the voice for peace, and we're not going to be interested and preoccupied with those voices in our head that bring us into anxiety. We're giving it up today. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. So that's just telling you, that's how you use your mind. When you exalt that voice inside your head that is not speaking for infinite intelligence, that is arrogant, that is private, that wants to do its own thing its own way, and I don't want to hear about it, that's how you get wicked experiences walking on you at every side. But the good news is that it's also teaching you that's how you can get rid of those experiences, by turning off your attention from that voice. Now, that voice may never shut up. That voice might always be there, but you get really good at saying, thanks for sharing. I'm going to turn to infinite intelligence instead. You get really good at it. It's called practice. You practice listening to the voice for peace rather than the voice for anxiety. And you get better and better at realizing, whoa, I really do make a choice for anxiety. Here I thought it was just happening to me. And I really do make a choice for anxiety rather than peace. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to make a new choice. Again and again, and you get really good at it. You get really good at saying, not today, not today, I'm not doing this today. Today is a day of peace. I'm letting my anxiety go. A lot of times people are convinced by that voice inside their heads that anxiety is somehow helping them, and that if they just stop being anxious, that somehow they're leaving themselves vulnerable. That's a trick of the ego, isn't it? How is that even possible? So if you choose for peace and you give up your anxiety regardless of the screamings of that voice within you saying, no, that's going to keep you unsafe. You've got to be anxious because otherwise you're just going to be left vulnerable. If you just say thanks for sharing and you listen instead to that voice for peace and you realize that anxiety never can protect you. Anxiety never can bring you happiness. Anxiety never can bring you joy. Anxiety never can bring you anything that you desire, that you can give it up. and that it's a moment-by-moment decision that you get to make to listen to the voice for peace inside of you rather than the voice for anxiety. So you just keep coming back to this psalm each and every day, and eventually you're going to get a sense that it's okay. You're going to get a sense of peace and certainty about whatever it is that you brought to the psalm, in this case anxiety, but whatever it happened to be that you brought to that psalm. Once you get that click, you can stop working it and you can move on to something else and let that seed grow and flower and blossom and bear fruit for you. Thank you so much for being with me today. Until next time, blessed be.